It gets deeper and deeper every day. We start with breaking news. Another glaring example of political bias at your Department of Justice. Our very own James Rosen. He joins us tonight with an exclusive report. James, gets bigger every minute.
Sean, good evening. When Fox News first queried the Justice Department about Associate Deputy Attorney General Bruce Ohr, a top official just 4 doors down from Deputy AG Rod Rosenstein, we were told that Ohr had been stripped of his title and his office a few hours before our inquiry. Later, DOJ told us that Ohr had lost that job because he is also and remains director of DOJ's Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force, and that his wearing of 2 hats was, quote, unusual. Finally, this afternoon, DOJ officials acknowledged the real reason for Ohr's stunning demotion yesterday, namely that he withheld from superiors his meetings last year with 2 controversial figures. Investigators for the House Intelligence Committee have uncovered that Ohr met with Christopher Steele, the former British spy who authored the infamous anti-Trump dossier with input from Russian sources. And he also met with Glenn Simpson, the founder of Fusion GPS, the opposition research firm that paid Steele with funding from the Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Committee. The dossier was given to the FBI in July 2016, around the same time that Donald Trump accepted the GOP nomination. Former FBI Director James Comey has described the dossier as a collection of salacious and unverified material about Mr. Trump and his associates.
I'm not sure when the FBI first took possession of it, but the media had it before you had it and we had it. At the time of your departure from the FBI, was the FBI able to confirm any criminal allegations contained in the Steele document?
Mr. Chairman, I don't think that's a question I can answer in an open setting because it goes into the details of the investigation.
Republican investigators from the House Intelligence Committee issued a fresh subpoena on DOJ today for information on Bruce Ohr. They are looking to determine whether the Democratic-funded dossier was used to obtain FISA surveillance on a Trump campaign advisor named Carter Page. Sean.
Big question. James Rosen, thank you tonight from Washington. Now, this whole thing, I tell you, is a house of cards. It's beginning to crash down. I promise you there's a lot more information that has still not come out as of yet. TikTok to all our friends out there on Twitter, because we're only scratching the surface here. For example, Sara Carter reporting tonight, House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes will issue a subpoena to Bruce Ohr for more information about his meetings regarding this anti-Trump dossier. And also tonight, House lawmakers grilling the FBI Director Christopher Wray on Capitol Hill about new information regarding the Trump-hating FBI agent Peter Strzok after Strzok was fired from Robert Mueller's investigation. Why? For bashing Trump in text messages to his FBI official girlfriend, also part of the team. Now, before we show you the video, remember, Strzok signed the document that started the entire Russian investigation, and Strzok's team was assigned to handle the dossier when it was first given to the FBI. And Strzok oversaw the interview of former National Security Advisor Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, and he played a key role in the Clinton email investigation. This guy never slept, including, by the way, attending Hillary's FBI interview that was not under oath. He was also there at the interviews of Clinton's top aides, Uma Abedin, Cheryl Mills, who we know lied. And Strzok is responsible for changing the key language in James Comey's statement that exonerated Hillary Clinton before the investigation from grossly negligent, which is the legal standard, to extremely careless. Now that you have all this information, take a look at this showdown. It's epic from today.
What we've learned about FBI agent Strzok is that this is the one FBI agent that is literally at the epicenter of virtually every major decision the FBI has been involved in, action and inaction, about candidate Trump, about President Trump, and about candidate Clinton. And if that one agent at the center or source is decidedly anti-Trump and decidedly pro-Clinton, that raises real questions.
I'm sure you're aware of the recent media reports indicating that Peter Strzok, who is a special agent at the FBI, changed the words grossly negligent to extremely careless in former Director Comey's statement closing the Clinton investigation.
Gross negligence is the language in the statute, I believe. But I believe also that almost anybody who grabbed a thesaurus would say that gross negligence and extremely careless are pretty darn close to each other.
You're right, they are synonyms. Extremely careless is a synonym for grossly negligent, which begs the question, why change it?
How did this guy get on your supposedly unbiased team in the first place?
If you watched today, you saw something that we have been telling you now for a long time, that other networks that say they're fair and balanced and objective and they consider themselves to be real journalists never talk about. Pretty amazing. Now, Peter Strzok, that's the Trump-hating, Clinton-loving FBI agent. He's tied to everything, including the fake news dossier. Watch very closely, an amazing moment, Congressman Jim Jordan connecting all of the dots, kind of like we've been doing on this show. Why? Because it's the truth. Something missing in today's world of so-called journalism, which I said was dead back in 2008. Take a look.
Peter Strzok, the guy who ran the Clinton investigation, interviewed Mills, Abedin, interviewed Secretary Clinton, changed gross negligence a crime to the term extreme carelessness, who ran the Russian investigation, who interviewed Mike Flynn, gets put on Mueller's team, and then he gets kicked off for a text message that's anti-Trump. If you kicked everybody off Mueller's team who was anti-Trump, I don't think there'd be anybody left. So here there's got to be something more here. My hunch is it has something to do with the dossier. Director, did Peter Strzok help produce and present the application to the FISA court to secure a warrant to spy on Americans associated with the Trump campaign?
Congressman, I'm not prepared to discuss anything about a FISA process in this setting.
Did Peter Strzok, was he involved in taking that to the court?
I'm not going to discuss in this setting anything to do with the FISA court applications.
It's been reported that this dossier was all dressed up by the FBI, taken to the FISA court, and presented as a legitimate intelligence document, that it became the basis for granting a warrant to spy on Americans. And I'm wondering if that actually took place. It sure looks like it did.
Now, what Congressman Jordan is talking about, and what we have now been getting at for months, is this is critical to the entire so-called Russian investigation. You got everybody in the liberal, mainstream, destroy Trump media trying to make this all about non-existent Trump-Russia collusion. It's been a year, no evidence, but they've all been missing the point, and frankly, deliberately misleading and lying to you, the American people. They're lazy and they're overpaid. It's pathetic. The big story in all of this is the growing possibility, yes, it's emerging, that the FBI used the Clinton bought and paid for Russian dossier to obtain a FISA warrant to spy on American citizens that were connected to candidate and then President-elect Trump. Now, that would be weaponizing the very powerful tools and using them against an opposition party in an election year. Now, let's be clear here. It's not a smoking gun quite yet, but it's coming. But that's all where the signs now are pointing to. We'll follow this every single step of the way. We're ahead of the curve. Please stay with us. And one more very important point. Can anyone explain to me, anybody at all, how Robert Mueller's investigation can be described as fair, impartial, not biased? Let's imagine for just a second it's you, it's your family member, or somebody that you love and care about, your friends. Would you really want Robert Mueller and his team of partisan political hacks investigating you? Would you want a group of people that donated over $50,000 to the Democrats and filled with unethical officials and attorneys coming after you that hate one candidate, love the other candidate? Would you really trust them to be fair? Do you think this is how the justice system is supposed to work? Because I don't think so. And also tonight, yes, no class, Barack Obama back again. What is he doing? Launching a new far-left attack against President Trump, warning that America could turn into Nazi Germany. Now, he's speaking at the Economic Club of Chicago, and Obama said the danger today is, quote, growing complacent. We have to tend to this garden of democracy or else things could fall apart quickly. That's what happened in Germany in the 1930s, which, despite the democracy of the Weimar Republic and centuries of high-level cultural and scientific achievements, Adolf Hitler rose to dominate. 60 million people died, so you got to pay attention, and you got to vote. All right, very cute, very clever, comparing the president in a subtle way to Hitler and Nazis. Obama, by the way, how are your unrepentant domestic terrorist buddies, Bill Ayers and Bernardine Dorn, doing? Oh, and by the way, please send our best wishes to the Church of GD America and the Reverend Jeremiah Wright. Now, Now, the former president is obviously sick, pathetic, and twisted in this obsession with President Trump. He's kind of like everybody in the media. And every single chance Obama gets, whether it be here or at home, overseas, doesn't matter, he's trashing, trying to undermine the president. Maybe he can't get over the fact that his record was atrocious. Maybe he needs to take his own advice and accept the results of the election. Okay, President Obama, Hillary lost. Time for you two to get over it. And by the way, I know this is probably impossible, but maybe try taking some notes from George W. Bush, because George W. Bush never criticized you, not one time after he left office, because he actually respected the office more and thought it was more important. Finally tonight, over at Conspiracy TV, MSNBC, Crazy Liberal Joe and his cohorts over at that network, well, they're at it again, now stooping to a new low, attacking and trying to discredit the president in a segment only Chicken Little could be proud of. Liberal Joe and his panel of never Trump-hating sycophants had a collective meltdown during some deranged and reckless speculation about the president's health. Watch this.
He is clearly slurring his words. I don't know what the cause of it is. The question of his fitness, of his stability, is in the air.
At the beginning of the speech, before the slurring started, I said, Mika, look at him. This is not the person that we knew even 3 years ago.
He does not look in great physical shape and hasn't for some time.
Now it's Republicans that are coming to us and saying the President of the United States is not mentally fit.
You're not mentally fit to host a TV show. There you have it. Armchair conspiracy psychology from America's most unhinged liberal morning show host and his band of merry Trump haters. It makes you wonder why Liberal Joe has so much rage and contempt for this president. Joe, you're kind of scaring us. I'll pay for therapy if you need it.